Welcome to this week's EMBN show. I'm joined by Doddy. We've got loads coming up in this week's show. We're talking about winter riding or escaping to the sun.
Oh, wish I could escape to the sun. There's also some really cool adapted e-bikes and more importantly, some great bike vault stuff from you guys.
Doddy, talk to me all about riding in winter. How do you find it personally?
I secretly love riding in winter. I've always had more time to ride in the off-season.
Yeah.
Obviously, the wet season is the off-season for us here in the UK. But I've got to say, the last couple of years, it's started to wear me down a bit. Just the constant cleaning of everything.
For sure, yeah.
You know, and it's like, you know, it is great fun, the splashing around in the mud and spraying your mates with puddles and that. But yeah, it's pretty tricky this time of year, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm right on the fence with it. You know, I love, as you say, the conditions, sliding around, getting loose out there, all the colours and stuff in autumn. But there's essential rain, you know, just coming down rain every day. Trail's an absolute mess. You're soaked, the bike's soaked. But you've got a pretty special setup at home, right? It's kind of built for it.
Yeah, so I was lucky enough to build my own workshop on the side of the house, and I kind of had it in mind with a hose on the outside, and it's a utility space as well.
Right.
So I can basically get hosed off, do the bike, put the stuff straight in the washing machine, get changed in there, and into the house. So nothing dirty goes in the house.
Sounds better than me just trampling around outside, stripping off naked and trying to walk in the house.
I've had a few of those years myself.
Do you see Ollie Wilkins shredding that river as well?
Yeah.
Well, the trails are literally a river. You were doing that as well, right? It's some river action.
Actually, quite close to my house, actually, there's a pretty good descent. It's super rocky, and it is like an old riverbed, but unsurprisingly, in the winter conditions, it turns pretty much into a river. There's a little clip on screen, actually.
Nice.
You'll see what I mean. Quite surprised, actually. The e-bike absolutely laughed it off.
Really?
You know, I was still kind of thinking, something's going to go wrong at some point, but...
And talking about other bikes, do you still ride your standard bike this time of year? I've delved in it a few years back, and I'm totally e-bike for winter. I don't know about you.
For the first time, yeah, all right. I bowed.
We've lost you.
I bowed defeat. Yeah. The normal bike, like, it's been that real thick congealed mud recently, and it's so tiring, and you're going so slow, and it's like, nah. This time of year, I'm definitely down with normal bikes, and it's either e-bike or e-indoors with Zwift.
Exactly. Sounds good. Sounds like you need a bit of winter sun then, Doddy, right?
Yeah, vitamin D, that's what I need.
But you've been away a few times with a standard bike. You been away with your e-bike yet?
Never with an e-bike. I mean, obviously, this time of year, I've gone away loads, and you have been on trips with me in the past, but I've got to say, I'm a little bit apprehensive about travelling with an e-bike, so I don't want to drive far enough to the good places, like southern Spain or whatever. It's just too much hassle. And the whole flying thing, I'm a bit like, you know, you can't take the batteries, not really sure how to do that.
Well, funnily enough, Doddy, we did a little mini road trip a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
We got all that information in this little video, so check this one out. Escaping for a bit of winter sun, just like I'm doing here today in Malini, is an amazing idea, and it's going to improve your mood tenfold. I left the UK and it was absolutely hammering down with rain. The trails were all muddy. Every time I rode, I was getting absolutely covered in mud, and my bike was an absolute mess. But I've been riding here in Nice, I've been here in Malini in Italy, and my bike is actually covered in dust. I'm getting a bit of a suntan. So it's an amazing idea to get out here. But how did we get here? Well, I flew out of Bristol into Nice, got a cheap flight into there, got picked up by a shuttle, and then I've flown out with actually my own bike. So I've rented a battery whilst I'm over here. So I've got my own bike that I'm familiar with. So I just slot the battery in and I'm good to go. Another option when you are flying out is obviously just to rent an e-bike when you get here. It's going to save you that hassle of dragging that big bike bag through the airport, and you can fly a little bit lighter and lose that excess baggage as well on the plane. So renting an e-bike is definitely a good option. Just taking factors such as the brakes are going to be possibly round the wrong way if you're English and you're going to Europe. Great locations to go away. You want to go to the south of France, you go to Italy, Morocco, bike packing, you name it. A bit of sun on those trails is going to be absolutely amazing. Just try and get a guide maybe for those first few days. Other things to consider is your bike skills are just going to be increased tenfold. You're going to be experiencing some proper technical terrain. Out here in Europe, the runs that you're going to get are going to be 10 times as long as probably where you live at home. So that bike time you're going to experience is going to be amazing. So I suggest you book that ticket, chase that sun, and get out there.
Okay, so straight into news, and well, weirdly, this time of year there's not that much news going on the scene, so it tends to be about who's starting to ride for where. Just before Christmas, we started to see a lot of riders announcing that they were leaving their current sponsors. The latest one of those we've heard is Darren Berricloth is no longer riding for Canyon. A little bit of a surprise from my point of view, because I've not seen him do as much E-related stuff as I thought, but it does mean there's a huge entrance there for a free rider, well, potentially a free rider to be riding on the Canyon spectral ones, and well, I'm not saying anything, but Fabio Vibner never did anything on Turbo Levo, did he?
No, he didn't, did he? So it was a bit of an odd one. All those vids he did.
You never know.
Could be him for sure. Vitus news. So we've got Rob Warner riding for Vitus as well. So the loudmouth himself has got an e-bike. I saw on Insta. He was out shredding it already, putting some crazy Strava times in, so annoying all the locals already on his e-bike, standard Rob style.
Yeah.
And I spoke to him a couple of days ago, and he was absolutely stoked on his e-bike. He's saying it's actually changed his life. So can't wait to go up and do some shoots with him. Can you imagine him on an e-bike?
I totally can, because A, he won't mind me saying this, he's a little bit lazy, and B, well, let's face it, Rob, with trial skills, he is phenomenal. So, you know, he's if he wants to put in less effort and concentrate on having fun and getting up crazy stuff and over stuff, I think he'll be great at it.
I think he is like actually who e-bikes are made for. If there's one person in British mountain biking, Rob Warner, says e-bike to me, full on.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
A couple of other Vitus riders as well. Seen Nige Page, team manager, shredding it as well, doing some big step downs as well. Do you see that on Insta as well, sending that big road gap?
I did. I was actually a little bit surprised by that, because obviously he runs the Nuke Proof team. Let's see him on the Vitus, but yeah, man, he was sending it on that thing.
Sure. And one other bit of news as well, Chris Ackrig, I heard he's on the move too, so I really hope he's going to be riding for an e-bike brand. I did see a snippet of a video a few months ago of him absolutely shredding on an e-bike, and it actually blew my mind. It was insane.
I've got to say, technically, he's my favourite rider of all time.
Yeah.
If he could get on an e-bike, he would do what he did to the Fixie world and he'd just shut it down.
Blow it away.
Oh, it'd be unbelievable.
Can't wait to see it.
Okay, a bit of alternative tech this time. I find this particularly interesting. So, of course, not everyone is able to ride like a regular two-wheel bike, so people have to find different ways to get out there and shred. And Jeff Page is just one of those guys. So Jeff's actually quadriplegic, so it means he's not got full use, basically. And he's got this amazing trike. It's a full suspension unit. This is some of the stuff you're going to see on screen in a second now. It's a hand cycle, e-assist, and it's got just about everything going on with it.
Yeah, it's loaded with tech. Jeff's got a neck shifter on there, so you can essentially just tilt your head to change gear. It's got 3 batteries on there. It's given him a 120-mile range. It's got brakes linked up, so he can brake with his elbow, obviously, because his hands are on the crank, so there's no way of pulling levers. It's got coaster brakes. It is an amazing bit of kit. Check it out.
I love electronics with bikes. Even more so than just the involvement of having the e-assist on it. You know, like that's wireless, the way he changes gear.
It's crazy, isn't it?
So that's just, you know, enabling another side of riding bikes for him that you just wouldn't have seen previously. I think this sort of stuff is paving the way for anyone to shred outdoors.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
rad.
We've got a really cool week of content coming up on Friday. What we got, Doddy?
Actually, a super good video. It's about riding Euro bike parks. Now, no matter how many bike parks you've ridden, if you live in the UK, for example, there's loads of them, but it's nothing compared to riding the steeper stuff that you get in Europe. I think a lot of this one's done at Verbier.
Yeah.
Loads of good tips in there.
Different world.
Crisis management or something like that.
And on Sunday, we've got hammering home-build hardtails. Now, we've built our own e-bike, so we're pretty excited about that. We're going to hit the trails and actually see what this bike's capable of. Pushing the limits, home-build hardtails.
Looking forward to that one. I'll tell you what, Chris, there was some amazing feedback with you versus GCN's Chris Opie, your sort of e-bike versus the roadie powerhouse.
That, I think, was one of the hardest days out on an e-bike I've had so far. You know, we've raced all these cross-country pros and things like that, but that was the hardest I've ever had to go on an e-bike. That was a real hard day out. I could taste blood after one of those races.
Dude, I'm not surprised. That guy, well, he's an ex-sprinter. You can see the build of him. He's built for speed. Yeah, fair play, though. That's a cool video. Some pretty interesting comments, actually. The first one I'll read out from Mark Pickersgill. 44 miles an hour on the flat. Wow, Chris. I think he's talking about Chris Opie, not you. I need to be fully tucked on a steep downhill to hit that speed. It was absolutely insane.
I couldn't believe it. You know, when I was on that start straight, that first sprint we did a couple of warm-ups sort of racing each other, and we were going down there at like 35, 40 mile an hour. But when the actual started filming, he hit like competition mode, boost mode engaged, and he was absolutely flying. As you say, 44 mile an hour on the flat as a sprint. That's
bonkers, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy fast. Not even an e-bike, you know. You're not going to hang with that.
Straight out powerhouse.
Yeah.
Next up is from Greg Lands. Not sure why Chris Smith kept claiming he was running out of gears unless his max cadence is like 90.
Well, funnily enough, it was a bit of an afterthought. We de-restricted the bike, and some of my other devices I have used on bikes will give it unlimited speed, but the device I was actually using on that bike, all it does is half the input speed. So once it's going like 25 mile an hour. I think it's doing 12 and a half, you know, something like that. So essentially it was still restricted, but at 50 kilometers an hour. So anything above 50, I was still under my own power. So I couldn't work out what it was. I thought I was just running out of gears, but it's actually hitting the limiter again. So to exceed even 50 kilometers an hour, you know, which I did multiple times on that race, was so hard work and could explain the tasting of blood and feeling sick after every race.
So when you're saying you're running out of gears, you basically run out of leg strength, yeah?
Yeah, true. Right, it's time for Where in the World. It's our chance to see what you guys have been up to all over the world on your e-bikes. Now, kicking it off, we've got Greville. He sent this in from Akaroa, New Zealand.
Oh, nice.
It looks like Hamish has been busy turning his valley into absolute free ride heaven. You've got uplift, single track, downhill sections. He's shredding it on his e-bike. Looks amazing spot.
I'd love to go to New Zealand.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
on my list, definitely. All right, next up is from Joe, and he says, been out in the slop and snow shredding on his cube in North Yorkshire. Meanwhile, Christine, aka Squirrel Squeezer, she's been out ploughing the snow in Pemberton, BC. Whoa. That's very lucky. And Matt's been doing some mud surfing in Dolby Forest on the Red Route, although broke some ribs and a finger.
Sounds painful. Bit of a snowy theme we got on going on there. Got this in from Ian as well. He's 68 years old and he's out for a spin in the snow on his Trek Powerfly in Ontario in minus 15 temperatures.
Minus 15 and 68 and out shredding.
Yeah,
dude, that is so cool.
That's so good, isn't it? But we love seeing what you guys get up to all over the world on your e-bikes. Don't forget to use the uploader service to get all your videos featured here on the EMBN show. Details are on screen now.
Okay, well, it's my favourite part of the show. This is Bike Vault. So let's get dug in.
Right, first up, we've got Gerhard here. He's out in Switzerland and he's got a Simplon steamer. Looking pretty chilly there, Doddy.
It's supposed to be good bikes, those.
Yeah, they do look good, doesn't it? What do you think of that shot as well?
Yeah, it's nice. A little bit of backlight going on there.
Autumnal, isn't it?
Yeah, nice. Next up is from Doug. Where's Doug? He's in Flat Rock Ranch. And it's proper made single track goodness with his specialised turbo levo there. That's the S-Works one.
Nice watch. Nice shot, isn't it?
It's really nice. And the bike looks trick as well.
Looks kind of like an old quarry. My kind of
Yeah,
scene.
or a bit of a volcano-y type thing. Yeah.
Nice. Next up, we've got Paul with his high bike all mountain. He's out in Watership Down.
Isn't that the place where those cartoon rabbits are from?
I think so, yeah.
Pretty sure it is.
There.
I'm pretty sure I cried at that film when I was young.
I think I did as well. Bright eyes burning like fire. I remember the song. Nice. Next up, who's that?
Sadie in Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania. Nice, with your Trek rail. Another cool shot. Bit of snow.
Yeah,
I hope we get some snow.
Yeah. Have you ridden an e-bike in snow?
I've barely ridden a bike in snow.
Michael, he's out in Cannock Chase with his Focus Jam 2. He's got his testing out his new mudguards front and rear as well.
Not sure about the rear, but I do love those Crud XLs up front because they work really well.
Good, aren't
they? I find the rear ones just getting away from me.
Flapping
hitting
around
on my bum and stuff. Yeah, I have to put up with the mud. Next up is from Richard in Kirkhill in Aberdeen.
Yeah.
Nice. So what's that? Cube Stereo HPC 140.
That's cool as well.
Very nice.
Right, next up we've got Ian with his 2019 Trek Powerfly 5. He's out in Uxbridge, Ontario, Canada, enjoying minus 15 Celsius and snow.
Do you know
if you can be enjoying minus 15.
I've got to say, nothing related to this. I love the name, Powerfly. It just sounds cool.
Good looking bikes as well, aren't they? Always look good.
Next up from Alistair in Paisley in Scotland. Working over Christmas in the local hospital, so this was my new bike's first day out. Local trails above Paisley. Very nice.
Way up in the hills there.
Yeah.
Whoa. Lastly, we've got this one coming in from Thomas. This is his custom turbo Levo 2020. He's got XTR bits on the XX12 speed. And it's weighing in at 20 kilograms.
Hold on. That's got Tamwell slicks on it.
I don't know if they're slicks. I think they're just like lightweight cross-country.
It looks a bit like sort of super motard sort of thing.
Good looking bike.
I kind of like it, yeah.
So what do you think?
Obscure, but
bike of the week for you, Doddy. We've got a hell of a long list of entries there.
Oh, I don't know. That lever is nice, and I do like a set of Tamwells.
Yeah.
But I kind of think I quite like Doug's one, but maybe because I'm being biased because of the photo. The whole look is
photo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Photo's stronger, but I think for me, we're going to go Thomas with that custom Levo, 20 kilos, good looking bike, real nice shot. So yeah, keep them coming in. Could be on next week's Bike Vault, taking the win. Do you want to give it the big one on the pumps, Doddy?
Don't forget to get involved in the comments underneath here. Let us know if you keep on churning through the mud and the snow in winter, or if you do what the birds do and fly south and get some summer sun.
That's the best way to do it for sure. But if you want to stick around and check out another video, check out de-restricted versus road bike. It's probably one of my hardest days out on an e-bike ever.
It was good to see you busting the gut for once, yeah. And if you want to see Steve Jones lose his marbles and try and take a commuter bike up a mountain, click down here. Actually, it's a really good video, that one.
Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to hit the globe in the middle of the screen to subscribe to EMBN.